Panoramas are my favorite way of photographing the forest. The reason is because I think a panoramic shot of the forest represents it better and it gives you a better feeling of the space and of how the forest looks like. But I found out in many occasions that people are stuck when they are trying to photograph a panorama. And today I'm going to share with you 4 easy steps to do a perfect panorama so you don't have any problems of approaching this landscape photography technique. Step number 1. Use the camera in portrait mode, not landscape mode, because the final image will already have a landscape format. So make sure you mount it like this, and as a side tip, use an L bracket because you're going to have the camera placed over here and you will rotate it around the sensor, not around the head of the tripod. Step number 2, use focal length above 35 millimeters. I go from 50 and up to 100 millimeters, but I usually stay around 50 or 70 millimeters. The reason is because the parallax effect. So the longer the focal length, the image will start to form over here close to the sensor of the camera, and when you're going to rotate it, you won't get that parallax effect that may not let you stitch the panorama correctly. The third step is to focus on the center of your panorama. So you plan your panorama and then you focus only on the center of the panorama. The way you can do this is focus the image and then switch your lens to manual, or the way I do it, I set up my trigger not to do the focusing but only do the metering of the scene, and I'm focusing using only this button over here. Step number 4, go from left to right and plan your shot. So plan your panorama in such way that you have 5 frames to create a panorama. For me, I found out that having 5 shots to create this panorama works perfectly because the height and the width proportion. And now let's apply these 4 steps on that tree over there, and let's see also the final result. A side tip: make sure that the tripod is even, and when you do this rotation, you do this on a parallel surface with the ground. If you're going to tilt your camera to one side or the other, you're going to end up with a crooked panorama. It's not going to look okay. So I place my camera in portrait mode. I have a focal range of somewhere around 80 millimeters, and the settings are ISO 100, f8, 0.5 seconds. That's one of the reasons you need a tripod even in winter situations, because inside the forest this is the exposure time. The first thing that I'm going to do is plan my panorama. So I'm going to start from the center, what I think the center of my image is going to be like, and I'm overlapping 30% of the shots to my left, and I'm going to do that twice, and in this way I'm going to have 2 shots to my left, the center shot, and then the other 2 to my right. Bonus tip: use a sign that is useful to you to know that the following sequences of photos are going to be stitched in a panorama, and use a sign to mark the start and the ending of the panorama. I'm using 3 fingers and I'm pointing in this direction when the panorama starts and in this direction when it ends. It helps a lot because when you're doing lots of photos, you're not going to be able to tell when the panorama starts and when it ends, especially inside the forest. So probably right now you know exactly how to create a panorama. If you want to learn more about landscape photography, check out the link in the description of this video. You can find my ebook on my website, or you can join me for one of my workshops. If you have something to add or you have a question, use the comment section below, and until next time, keep on photographing because it's the only way to get better. Bye bye.